It's been exactly 3 months since Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, was reported missing. The 84-year-old was last seen at her home outside of Tucson on the night of January 31st. She was reported missing the next day. Authorities believe she was kidnapped, abducted, or otherwise taken against her will. In the past month, there's been little movement in the case, with seemingly no viable leads for investigators, leaving many unanswered questions about her disappearance. I want to bring in Briana Whitney, who's covered this case from the beginning and is now the breaking news reporter for the Crime Junkie podcast. Briana, thanks for being here. Has the case officially gone cold?
You know, Lindsay, I asked investigators that earlier today. I reached out to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I reached out to the FBI. There's no new updates, but when we ask if it's cold, they don't refer to it as cold. They say that it's still active. They're still investigating leads or tips that are coming in from the public. So it's one of those things where you ask that, they're not really saying it's cold, but obviously we know details have slowed. Although they are saying this is still an active investigation, at least at this point, 3 months later.
And we know DNA can take time. Are investigators waiting on results of anything? What other leads do they have?
Yeah, I asked PCSD about that today as well. We know they're testing DNA from inside Nancy Guthrie's home, and we know that it was a mixed DNA sample. So that can be difficult to split apart to try to identify if there is an unknown profile that doesn't match somebody who would have normally been in that house. That can take a fair amount of time, but we just don't know where that stands right now. Have they been able to rule out all of the CODIS database, and are they moving on now to genetic genealogy? Is that where we're at? We don't know. We know they're working with the FBI as well. We know there's also a private lab that's testing some of this DNA in Florida. So it seems that those are the two main labs working on this, but we really haven't gotten any more updates on the DNA status of anything now for about a month.
And you read the notes that Savannah Guthrie herself said she considers to be real. Whatever happened with the Bitcoin demand in those purported ransom notes?
Yeah, so there were two different notes that came in. They were sent to one of the news stations, and that's where we saw them. And so when I worked for the news station, we were able to read what came in on those. They provided very specific details about the abduction that they believed only the abductor would know. And at one point, there was money that was put in, assumably by law enforcement or by the Guthrie family, possibly both, that came together to go forward with this strategy. It was a small amount in the Bitcoin wallet, and they left a message that said, "We are ready to talk, contact us." And there was a link or a form to be able to do so. There has been no other Bitcoin activity in that wallet since, and we don't believe that the Guthries were ever contacted. Certainly, Savannah never said anything more about that. The Guthries, you heard them say it over and over again at that time, "We want proof of life," and they never got that. And so was it that the abductors or abductor could not provide that, and that's where it stopped? Possibly, but that Bitcoin wallet and those ransom notes that came in that first week, it was done after that. So it may be that there was just no legitimately new leads that the Guthrie family felt were credible since that very first week in the investigation back in early February.
Okay, come back if there are any more updates. Briana Whitney, thank you.
Will do. Thanks, Lindsay.